It's gonna get dark, then I.
You gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Defend the Hustle, episode number 11. Our special guest tonight is the Bearded Vet. Pamela, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're going to work our way around to our special guest.
What's good, everyone? Thanks for coming out tonight, Friday nights. Appreciate the love. I am Mess Hall Diggs, the underground superstar. Got over 400 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's not a brag. I'm not trying to brag, okay? But check me out on YouTube, Instagram. It's your boy.
I'm David, the middleman. I'm not as famous as Mess Hall, but I'm trying to get there one day. But I'm an Amazon, eBay seller. I've been selling for since 2018, and me and my wife do it together.
All right. And for everyone that don't know me, I am Buffalo Picker, part-time reseller, full-time federal employee, retired military. Tonight, our special guest is the Bearded Vet. Bearded Vet, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself. Before we do that, let me give a shout out to the chat, and then I'm just going to open up the floor to you, and you can get into telling us what you would like us to know about you and how you got into reselling. So
Sounds good.
All right. So let me give a shout out to the chat. First in the chat, New England Betty Boop, what's going on? Return of Cage Roots reseller, Shwani Boyer, Mile High Hustlers, what's going on, Mile High? Mudden Ridge Finds, Sandra, I hope you got that item I was supposed to send you. So let me know in the chat if you received it. Regina Michelle, what's going on, Regina Michelle? All in one package, everybody know that's Miss Buffalo. Pamela, say it here first. What's going on, Ella? The chat just jumped on me as well. Lucky Charm, Wendy, LKL Graphs, Jennifer Hayes, thank you for what you do for the channel. Rural Squirrel, Char F, Nita J, that man, what's going on, that man? I sent you your item as well. Let me know if you got it. Miss Lala, thank you all for coming out. Never too old. Let's see who else we got in here. Rebel Jump, what's going on? I got it right now. What's going on? Appreciate you coming out. So like I said, our special guest tonight is the Bearded Vet. Go ahead and basically, like I said, tell people how you got into reselling and whatever else you want us to know about you.
Hey, what's up, guys? First of all, I appreciate being invited on the channel. So a little bit about myself. My name's Kevin. I like to go by the Bearded Vet. I was in the military, specifically in the Navy, for just under 10 years. I worked in search and rescue, and I started to dabble into reselling in itself on eBay, Mercari, just like reselling, going to like garage sales and like thrift stores, doing like the whole thrifting, gig. Like I watched the Gary Vee video and I was hooked. But fast forward to I got out of the military. I wanted another stream of income that would benefit me, my family. So I looked into Amazon. So I've been selling on Amazon now. Next month will be a year, and I'm just under 140,000 in sales. I do this part-time. This is not a full-time gig for me. This is just a part-time, gig. And, I probably average around 2 to 3 hours daily, whether that's working on my business, whether that's, contacting distributors, going into stores, specifically, like I like to, sell some Nike on Amazon. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. I've dabbled into like all the categories and stuff and everything on Amazon. But, for me, for success, it's been Nike, it's been wholesale. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
All right. If you have any questions for our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Mess Hall, you have any questions?
Well, like I said, I'm a huge fan. I like following your stuff. I like your no nonsense approach to everything. The truth, you just put it out there. You put yourself out there. You put truth and facts out there for people. And that's like something I hold near and dear to my heart, which is why I love this panel and this show. Is people that just keep it real, no nonsense, be themselves. And you came across as that kind of person to me. Plus, you're a veteran, which what we love too on this show. We love our veterans. So did you mention what you did full time, or you don't want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. No. So what I do full time, I'm a safety director for a medical device manufacturer here in Southern California. So pretty much like what I do is, I have people that ensure like a safe workplace. Not really necessarily test employees, but check their skill sets. Teach them how to be safe on the job, because just like in the military, I know they always speak about complacency. And just recently, I had a couple employees that got complacent and they got hurt. So for me, like safety, transferred over really well. Like I worked in safety, and most people in the military know about safety. So the skill set transferred pretty easily. So I had a job offer for a safety director position here in SoCal, and that's what I do full time. I also dabble into, a few different other streams of income, whether it's like Turo car rentals or Airbnbs. I own a couple vending machines. My wife helps me with stocking those when I can't. But I try to stay, on my feet. I'm a pretty busy person. I don't really necessarily like just, sitting down watching TV. Like I'm young. I want to get on, as much as I can to help my kids, because to tell you the truth, that's the only reason why I started Amazon, was to get my kids' college funds funded quicker. I don't necessarily need the income, but it is, obviously a bonus, because half of the profit comes out of the business into my kids' college funds. The other half goes back into the business. So I never really see the money, and I just started, to dabble into, helping others and teaching. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
So there's no plan then to go full time at some point, like get a warehouse and do all that kind of stuff with Amazon?
I've thought about it, but for right now, no. I wouldn't have the time. I'm a full-time student as well. I go to college. I do my college work, sometimes at night, sometimes like on my lunch break at work or something. I'll hit the books or something. But like I said, I'm a pretty busy person, and like I added the 2 to 3 hours that I work on Amazon daily to my schedule. And I find that works out perfectly. And I get as much sleep as I can every day.
Right. You're on eBay too, right? Didn't you post something about your eBay? Just started an eBay store or something like that as well?
Yeah. So originally, my reselling career started on eBay. I was flipping stuff from garage sales, from thrift stores. I dabbled into the whole Pokemon card phase. Like I had a whole set that my parents had in their closet. I got those graded from PSA, and I was selling those, and buying and reselling those cards. And this was before the big boom. I sold all of my super rare stuff for a profit then. But 2 years later, the whole Logan Paul crap happened with
Yeah.
Pokemon, and it blew up, and I had some of the cards that they were trading and stuff, and I really kicked myself. But what can I do? I can't jump into the future.
Yeah, Logan Paul wears his Pokemon cards as a chain now. He got a chain with his Pokemon cards dangling. Yeah, the same thing happened to me with Nike Dunks. I was selling Nike Dunks, 4 or 5 years ago, because no one really wanted them. And then all of a sudden they became like the hottest sneaker in the planet right now, are Nike Dunks. And, so that kind of happened to me too, the Nike Dunk thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead, middleman. You got some questions?
Oh yeah, I just want to know, how did you hear about reselling, and who was you following when you first started? Because we all started following someone.
Yeah. Honestly, I just jumped into the rabbit hole on YouTube. I was watching something random, and a video popped up, and it had a great thumbnail, and I was like, oh, what is this? Selling, reselling stuff. And then I learned who Gary Vee was, and that was like one of my first inspirations, learning about Gary Vee and watching all of his stuff. Obviously we're talking about a multimillionaire who goes out to garage sales and goes to thrift stores and flips stuff, like explaining that. Like I didn't really necessarily get the concept at the time. I just thought it was it was a cool idea. Oh, cool, you can make money doing this. I didn't think of it much into it, so that was like my first case of reselling. I was on the fence for probably 2 years, just watching people's success. The Reezy resells on YouTube, and a few private label guys. But yeah, for the most part, back then it was just Gary Vee, and just random YouTube channels like 3-4 years ago. But yeah.
So what got you into wholesaling? The wholesale, what did you hear about wholesaling and getting ungated in Amazon? Because I don't think Gary Vee talks about getting ungated and things like that.
Yeah, so a little backstory. My mentor, who is mentoring me now through Amazon, was a buddy of mine in the military. And like 6 years ago, that was probably like 6 years ago, he told me, he's selling on Amazon. And I just kind of like wrote it off. I was like, oh, all right, bro, whatever. And, we reconnected when he came back out here to San Diego. And, we met up and I was like, oh, I remember you telling me that you sold on Amazon. Do you still do it? He's like, oh yeah. And he pulls out his seller account and he pulls up his sales and has like 15 million in sales. I was like, hold on, what? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. No way, man. And he's like, yeah, man, it's all about wholesale. Like I wholesale, brand name products and I resell them on Amazon. I, purchase them from distributors for a low price and I put them on Amazon for a high price. So that really, kind of caught my eye. But I started with, like retail arbitrage, going into like, the Rosses, the Walmarts, the Targets, going into the clearance section, scanning items and such. And, that was the grind. I like the grind. But in the beginning, like you said, I was pretty much gated in everything. So like, it was kind of like demoralizing, scanning everything, and it'd be, pulling up, well, you need to be approved to sell this. And, I would request approval and it says, oh, you're not, you're denied. You need to submit something, an invoice, a letter saying, hey, you can sell this product now if you, upload this. So my mentor, he, let me on to like his distribution list and I utilized that. And so by month 2, I was selling Nike, I was selling Disney, I was selling Samsung products, like all the major, big name brands as a brand new seller who had never sold, zero on Amazon. I take that back. My first sale was back in like 2015 when I created an Amazon seller account and I sold like an iPhone like 4S or something that I just had laying around. And like back then they had no gatings and, restrictions and stuff. And Amazon wasn't as big, but that was my first item I sold. But when I started again, my first item sold were some Nike socks.
So they grandfathered you into the ungated, being ungated.
No. So I got the distributors list, and I contacted those distributors. I purchased 10 of like Nike socks. I purchased like 10 of like these Elsa dolls, 10 like Samsung speakers and stuff. Because that's the requirement on Amazon to get ungated. You need a purchase contract, an invoice showing at least a minimum of 10 units on that invoice for Amazon to approve you. But the invoice has to be from a licensed and authorized distributor. But yeah, so that's where, I started, and, I continued to sell Nike. I continued to sell Disney. But like I said, wholesaling is just a whole different game because it doesn't take as much time rather than going into stores or going on their websites and such. Like when I contact a distributor, they send me their inventory list. I look I see what's profitable, and then they can send it to Amazon for me for a fee. And I mean, that's just the name of the game. Like, I don't even have to touch the products pretty much anymore. But like I said, I still go into retail stores. I do, FBA shipments myself. If a distributor can't send it to Amazon, then I have it sent to me. And I, build the pallets in my garage, or I, build up the boxes here in my den. And yeah, that's pretty much the name of the game for me.
Okay. Well,
all right. Let me run these buffaloes, and then I'll come back with a couple questions. If y'all have any questions in the chat for our guest tonight, go ahead and drop it in the chat. You basically got good information on Amazon, and if you got some questions, go ahead and drop it in there. I appreciate that, Derek. What happened for the super sticker?
Super chat received.
All right.
We got a question in the chat, Buff, if you want to go over.
Well, hold on just a second, man. Let me,
Roger
my
that.
my screen just jumping around. Let me give a shout out to Glad City Pickers is in the house. Appreciate you all coming out. Frank, this is Linda from My High Hustlers father. Give a shout out to Derek, who just gave super chat. Log off 1212, and Tanya, who is the wife of D Middleman. So
Willie Richburg. Who was that?
oh yeah, what's going on, Lo? Appreciate you coming out.
Shawana Boya.
I think I
Resell Daddy, whoever that is. Resell Daddy must be someone new. I never heard of that dude.
Whoever he is.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, it seems like I can't even scroll back up. Let's see.
I wonder who that person is now.
Wonder who that is.
All right, who got the question? I can't scroll back up.
Pamela got the question. Pamela got a question.
Go ahead with it, because I can't get back up there.
So basically, I think Pamela's saying, she's heard resellers say, give obvious advice when it comes to reselling. So she's trying to see if we have some advice to the not so seasoned reseller that isn't so obvious. I think she's trying to get the bearded vet to give some not so obvious advice to the not so seasoned reseller.
Let me see. Probably, if things that I could, not necessarily regret, but if I could change, obviously starting with arbitrage is going to be a hustle, right? You're going into stores, you're going online, you're, copying, pasting titles, you're utilizing softwares and, other applications, and, all these things are paid for. I kind of, not necessarily regret, but like I bought so many subscriptions in the beginning. I bought so many softwares. I was paying like $500-600 a month just in subscription costs. And it just didn't make much sense for me to be doing that in the beginning because of the numbers that I was putting out in the beginning. So I slimmed that down. So the best advice that I could give to a not so new, newer reseller or who's trying to learn about it, all you need is Keepa.com. That's a subscription to Keepa. Keepa is essentially a software that connects to Amazon's listings and gives you a breakdown of how to do product research. How much sales volume does this product that you're looking at do per month, per every 90 days? Does Amazon sell this product? How much inventory do other sellers have? All these things are important information for your product research. So don't just go into a store and just like, oh, that's on sale and this is the Amazon price, I'm going to make this much money. You have to calculate in a bunch of different costs. You have to calculate in your cost of goods. Like I can't tell you how many messages I get on the daily saying, oh, I'm not profitable. And I was like, are you factoring in your cost of goods? They're like, oh, no, I haven't been doing that. I'm like, well, that's where your return on your investment needs to be calculated. Because if I'm spending, $10 on a product and I can sell it on Amazon for $25, so I might be making, $7-8 after fees. So which is a pretty good return. But, people put in the numbers and they think, oh, I'm, making $15 off of a $10, buying it for $10, but they're not factoring in fees. They're not factoring in, storage costs if you're doing FBA. But so what I would recommend is start simple. You don't need all those subscriptions. You don't need all of the cool little softwares. Granted, as you get further down into your reselling career on Amazon, whether it's arbitrage, whether it's wholesale, or even private label, like, yes, those softwares will benefit you, but it doesn't make much sense for a newbie to be spending $500-600 on software per month. That's a car note. That's a grocery bill for people. Like, don't be spending so much money on these softwares. focus on your product research software, which is Keepa.com, and scanning items. Go into stores. Don't look for the super high sales rank items. You want to look for under 100,000 sales rank, because that's pretty much selling a good amount every month. You want to look for competition. How much does that competition have in stock? Like, all these things are important, because if you don't do your product research and you just buy on the whim, and then you message me and saying, oh, my products aren't selling, I'm like, well, number one, are you competitively pricing your products? Did you do your product research? Send me, then I would do, like, on the whim product research for someone. I'll be like, this thing only sells like five units per month, and there's 20 sellers on the listing. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not the name of the game in the beginning, especially for the new reseller who doesn't have the knowledge, doesn't have the the experience, and you want to, in the beginning, you want to have a good experience, because you want to continue this. 9 out of 10 resellers on Amazon fail because they just, that spark goes away, or they lose a lot of money, or in my field there's IP issues, intellectual property complaints, and there are ways of combating that. But in the beginning, educate yourself on Keepa. That is the only software you need. And scan. Go into your stores, go on to the online retailers, and cross-reference on Amazon, see what the price is, see what the buy box price is. Send in your products to FBA, because as a brand new seller, merchant fulfilling is going to be difficult, because you don't know what you're doing, and you're going to have to pay to ship items to customers, and then when returns happen, it's a whole nother mess. That's why FBA is great, because Amazon handles all of that. So your only responsibility is, when you have FBA products, is to send in the products. That's it. So
one of my
go ahead.
One of my main issues was buying all those apps when I first started. And you come to find out you don't need all of them, but you need some of them. I kept Inventory Lab, and I kept Keeper. But I started out with private label. So, with private label, they had tons of different types of apps that you have to have. I was spending $250, $300 a month just on those. But at the time, I had the money. I have the money to do it. So, but not every new seller have that money. You can start out in debt before you even start making money on Amazon. So you have to be very cautious on what you spending your money on, and don't listen to everybody, because if you listen to a lot of these gurus, they always have a link at the bottom of their videos telling you the link on this to get on this app, so they get paid for that every time.
Affiliate marketing.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with them getting paid for giving you information or trying to help you get there, but you got to start thinking about, can you afford to do this? If you can't afford to do it, do not put yourself out there and get in debt. Not everybody is able to do that.
So how do you guys feel about this, you Amazon superstars? So if I could find a product that's got a high rank and it moves pretty well, but there's only like $4 or $5 profit margin with that product, but I know I can move 20 of them pretty fast, is that still a good play?
Sure.
Yeah, for me, it depends on how many sellers on there, and if somebody is out there showing that product, because that $5 with Amazon pick and pack fees and other fees can come from $5 to $1 overnight. You got to.
Yeah, on surface, that's a good deal, and I know where you're going with it. D Middleman, is that I had a couple people that I was kind of getting into the resale game as well, and they found a good deal, and I basically told them to be cautious with the purchase, because it was a $5 item. But what they didn't know, or what I didn't know as well, is that Walmart dropped the price on this item in the whole United States. So yeah, it looked like a good deal at the time based off of the return on investment. But like you said, it started out with probably 6 people on the list, and before you know it, 3 to 4 days later, it's probably 176 people on the list. So down, you went from like this a smart buy to wait a minute, it just got flooded. So now it's like, what I'm gonna do with all this product? Am I gonna, take it to the, bare minimum and get my money back, or am I gonna now have to sit and hold? And everybody's not in that position to sit and hold.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I want to add on to what the Bearded Vet had put out is, you definitely want to go out and try to find the free software. Helium-10 is another one that you can use. I use that product to spy on my competition. So it'll let me know the items I got sitting in the warehouse. Should I try to put this stuff all together and send it to FBA, or should I just take it and put it up for a couple of months? So it's definitely, Keeper is definitely my number one, but Helium-10 would be my number two when you're talking about the free software out there. And the main thing I would add to that is you got to know your limitations. You can't look at what I'm doing. You can't look at what Bearded Vet doing. You can't look at what D Millerman doing. You got to know your limitations. What type of money you have to put in the business. If I put out a bolo, that don't mean that you go get it because you're going to take your water bill or your light bill money to go and buy it. And then all of a sudden, the market get flooded and now you sitting on that product, or you got to take it back to the store and do a major return. So, just be smart.
I think one of the main issues with the new resellers, once they see that price start dropping, they get scared. So they drop along with it, and it's a race to the bottom.
Right.
I would say if you like Buff said, if you can hold it, hold it. Just don't get in deep into that product. Like if I go to the store and I see 50 say tennis balls and they're $1 a piece, and then I look on Amazon and they're selling for $6 or whatever, and I'm like, wow, I could get a profit of $6, just a profit. So like he said, the 1,000 Walmarts might have the same sale. So that $6 will drop to $3, $2, and by the end of the week, it'd be negative.
Right.
Well, some of the seasonal resellers, what they do, they do merchant fulfill, because that's the fastest way of getting it on Amazon before everybody started jumping on it.
Right.
It takes a while for it to get into Amazon and then process through Amazon and then go live. So within about time you get your inventory into Amazon, I can already have been sold out.
Hey, let me give a shout out to a couple more people jumped into the chat. Want to give a shout out to Swamp Picker. Appreciate you coming out. See if I saw somebody else in here.
I think got some Buffaloes going.
What's going on, Marie? Appreciate you coming out. My Beaver unit. Denise, Vulture, the dumpster diver. Appreciate you coming out. Let's see. Bill Bixby, what's going on, Bill? Let's see. If I miss your name, it definitely ain't on purpose. We'll definitely try to get around to you. We run the Buffaloes for Frank. Appreciate that, Frank.
Thank you.
Super chat received.
All right. I want to jump in with a couple of questions for our guests. And once again, if you got any questions for our guests or anybody on the panel, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. One of the things that I buy from distributors as well for doing wholesale. But I tend to lean more towards liquidation because what I find is the margins are not that great. So, when you purchasing, what kind of margins are you looking for when you buy those loads from these different wholesalers?
Yeah, so it depends on the product research part of it, because I could buy a product that has a great sales rank, low competition,
Right.
everything checks the mark. And like you said, then a leads group or a bolo, someone puts out a bolo or something, and some retailers pick it up, and then I just purchase like 200 units or 500 units or something. I put a big investment in, and then the price tanks. But like you were saying, if you can hold your price, and if cash flow isn't necessarily super crucial to you, if you have the capital available to continue to make investments, then I'll hold my price, because most of the time those sellers are purchasing one or two from a store or something. They're arbitrage sellers, and they're not necessarily like the whales of like wholesale. Because if I don't mind waiting, I don't mind holding my price on products that there's 20 new sellers on it, and each of those sellers have one or two in stock. I'll let them sell out, and since I know I've conducted my product research correctly, I know the price is usually at this, and that's what I factored in during my product research, and that's where my price is. Once those people sell out, and then I'll sell out. So you just have to monitor your investments properly, because like you said, you don't want to go super deep, especially in the beginning. Never go deep on a product in the beginning. You always want to test it out. You always want to see how it's going to work. But on the other side of it is, like I said before, if someone, a leads group finds it or something, and you've been the only seller on it and you've been collecting so much profit, like that's going to eventually tank. And in the beginning, for most resellers, that when they first start on Amazon, we're talking about the person who has $1,000, $500 saved up, and they want to turn that into $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and eventually be 10,000, be 20,000 in sales, etc. And you can get there. But with that being said, going back to the product research aspect of it, if you're not doing your product research correctly, and you're just you might, how would I describe it? If you go on Keepa, everything checks out, and then say for instance Amazon jumps on the listing. Well, competing with Amazon is not going to go well for you, right? Because most of the time the algorithm goes directly to Amazon, right? So for an example, back in Q4, I bought these like Disney vanity sets from Walmart. I purchased like 30 of them. I went all around. I picked up a bunch of them. I sent them into Amazon because I purchased them for $40 at Walmart, and then they were reselling for $120 on Amazon at FBA. Amazon jumps on the listing in November, and they have like 1,000 plus in stock for like every single day, and it was like a low sales rank of like 2,000 or 3,000 in toys. So it's moving a lot per month, and Amazon their stock is never going down. So they sold out like by like the second week of December. So we're still before the end of Q4, and then the price jumped back up to $120, and then I sold out of my inventory. So that's what I mean about, if you can hold your price, it would be beneficial. But if you need to get your investment back, there's also nothing wrong with lowering your price, making your money back. But in the beginning, you obviously want to keep that at a bare minimum. And especially in the beginning, if you're choosing a product, say with a minimum return, like for me, I only chose products that were 50% return minimum in the beginning. And now I've since lowered that to 25. So it's really important to do it in the beginning, because Amazon price fluctuations all the time. It might be $20, and super profitable this minute, and then the next minute someone jumps on and now it's 15, and now you're making 20%, and then someone else jumps on and they bought it for $5, and now they're putting it for 10. So like all these things matter, but in regards to like liquidations and the actual margins, I keep my margins at 20 to 25% for wholesale. Typically I get around 20 to 25%. Sometimes it's a little bit lower, sometimes it's a little bit higher. Right. But liquidations is cool, but I've not had too much success with it. Most of the time it's mostly wholesalers and their local distributors. And if I can, voice that you don't necessarily need to find a distributor across the country because freight costs are going to be very expensive, especially if they're not FBA friendly. And what I mean by that is the distributor will send the product to Amazon directly for you for the freight cost. So instead of you paying freight to you, you prep the products and then you pay for freight back to Amazon. If you can find distributors that are FBA friendly, then you're saving, half of the freight cost. So that's something I recommend. That's a very simple question when you're in the customer service when on the phone with the customer service rep. Are you guys Amazon friendly? Do you sell to Amazon sellers? Are you FBA friendly? Do you have FBA services? And this is like sometimes can be the difference maker because of freight, especially right now with fuel costs and like Amazon just up their a fee because of fuel costs.
Yeah, 5%.
So exactly. So, and we're talking about if it's 20%, now you're down to 15%, and then inflation costs and all of those that have to get factored into it. So that's why in the beginning, especially if you're an arbitrage seller, and it's very, very easy to find 50% returns as an arbitrage seller. Not necessarily like at the Walmarts and the Targets and stuff, because like you said, probably most of the Walmarts and Targets are doing the same deal, and everyone else and every other reseller in this country is going into those stores and buying the same products. If you can find local, stores, local brick and mortar stores, local discount stores, your local Nike outlet. Like I'm blessed because I have like 10 Nike factory outlets because I'm in Southern California. So like I try to make one of those, each week. But yeah, I mean, for margins. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
No. Anyway, so like what I was saying, but that's where I keep my margins at.
Right.
If I absolutely I'll make a educated decision on like, okay, this product has been kind of sitting for, the past month. It hasn't been really selling. A lot of new sellers have jumped on the listing. Then yeah, like I'll match the buy box price or something if it's tanked, and I'll just get my investment back.
Right.
It just depends on a lot of factors, how much I have in stock. Do I have like less than 50% of when I bought it? Do I have, is it a brand new product that I'm testing out? That's why it's important to test out the products, because if you don't, you go deep in the beginning and then a bunch of people will jump on the listing and tank the price. And now you have an investment, you took a real big hit on your credit card interest, and, if you're leveraging credit, which is fine, that's great. If you can leverage credit smartly and, purchase products that give you a good cash flow, then, that can be the difference maker in the beginning. But yeah, does that answer your question, bro?
Yeah, man, that was a long version, man. Yeah. But yeah, I got you. I mean, everybody got their own business model, and like I said, if the deal is if it's an unbelievable deal with the distributors, I'll go ahead and try to make a purchase. And like just as well as I know, it's nothing in Amazon absolute. Those numbers, I used to say when I was, coming up in the resale game that the numbers don't lie. Well, yeah, they don't lie at that moment in time, but anything can happen within the next 24 hours that make those numbers shift. So, have you ever been in a situation? Well, I guess the other question I had around your wholesalers is, what is the minimum amount of units that you have to order in order to get the deal? And secondly, have you ever been in a situation where you'd have had your items drop shipped to Amazon from your distributor, and then you at the 60-day mark and your items are not moving as you projected them?
So no, I've never experienced a drop shipping through a distributor. what I have experienced was, testing out products.
Well, not
with the
drop shipping, but the fact that they're gonna ship your items where you don't touch them, they'll ship them
Oh,
straight to
yeah.
Amazon.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So in that aspect, right? I can, if that does happen, for me, that hasn't happened.
Right.
But if I were placed in that situation, then I would just have a removal order for FBA. If it's been a month or something, and the product really isn't moving, and say for instance the minimum order quantity was like 100 products, and it's like a few $1,000 investment. I don't mind creating a removal order and having it returned to my address, and then I just ship it back to the distributor to be returned.
Right.
Now that depends on what your return policy is for each distributor. Every distributor is different. Some distributors don't have a return policy, like unless like the products are broken or something, that's a different story. But a lot of them, they say, you buy it, you own it, like that's it. So, but that's where also with like the relationship comes in, is like I have a local distributor who just sends me a text. Hey, you've purchased this product before in the past. We're restocking it. Do you want me to, just transfer X amount of units to Amazon for you? And I'll just run a quick numbers test. If I still have it in stock, then that's an automatic yes. If I don't, then I'll check the numbers real quick. And that's like what you want from a distributor. You want to build that relationship to the point where, they can send you a text message, they can send you a call and say, hey, we have this, you've purchased in the past, you're a loyal customer, we'd love to sell to you. For the newer reseller, I don't recommend starting in wholesale because, the capital required, like you said, some distributors have, pretty large minimum order quantities.
Right.
Like I was working directly with a brand with their customer service, and they're like, a minimum purchase order is $30,000. And I was like, well, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
For the year of one order.
One order.
Wow.
One whole order. And this was directly from a brand, not from a distributor.
Right.
So that's like the difference. Like we're talking about a multi-million-dollar brand. So I understand, they have a minimum 30 grand. But with that being said, most new resellers don't have, $30,000 laying around. They're starting Amazon, with $500, $1,000. They want to, flip that and continue to flip it. And if you're in that situation, those of you that are in the chat watching, if you're in that situation of, I have a $500, $1,000 laying around, I really want to invest it. I've heard great things about Amazon. Great. Start with arbitrage. I can't recommend arbitrage enough, just because it gives you such a good foundation, to stand on for selling on Amazon. And, as you build, as you continue to double your initial investment, then you can look towards wholesale. But I don't recommend starting with wholesale just because we're talking, a lot of numbers, unless you're a rich, person watching who, wants to pretty much automate the business, and you have, $100,000 to spend. Cool. You can start with wholesale, but I still don't recommend it because you're not going to know what you're doing. So start with arbitrage, get a good foundation, understand how to scan products, understand how to list the products, understand Amazon as a whole, because, we're talking about the largest e-commerce platform in the world, and, has over like 400 million active customers worldwide. And of that 400 million, like 200 million in the United States, daily users. And we're talking about prime customers. So, capitalize on that customer base, because Amazon's only going to continue to grow. Eventually, your the products that you purchase as a customer are going to be delivered by drone, and whereas now, like, okay, you'll get it tomorrow or the next day. Like, that's prime shipping. That's the benefit of FBA. But the also downside is everyone on Amazon is selling on FBA. So if you can merchant fulfill, that's great too. But in the beginning, definitely just send your products into FBA, just because dealing with, a shipping station. Like most people might not have the room. Most people don't have, the space to, ship products, drop it off at the post office or UPS. Like, they want to do this stuff on the weekends, make a shipment on the weekend, send it into, Amazon and, wipe their hands clean and watch the sales come in. Great. That's pretty much what I do. I'll purchase inventory, whether it's through OA or RA, during the week. It'll sit in my den here. I got like 40 pairs of shoes over here. And then either tonight or tomorrow, I'll be sending an FBA shipment of all those shoes. And that's pretty much the name of the game for me. You always want to continue to, feed Amazon, especially with like wholesale and stuff. If you can get like what's called a replenishable, and you can find replenishables on, major retailers and stuff. But the problem is if you go ahead.
I mean to interrupt, but I think
No,
some of the items that you're going over now, definitely want you to talk about those in the talking point tonight, which we can just kind of segue into, is the pros and cons of selling on Amazon. And some of those things you just mentioned is definitely some pros. Let me run the Buffaloes and then we'll get into the talking point. I appreciate that, Bill, man. Thank you for the super chat.
Super chat received.
All right.
The real market. Yeah.
What's going on, brother? I haven't talked to this guy in a minute. Appreciate you coming out. I think he's from Atlanta. Appreciate the super chat, brother.
Super chat received.
And thank you for coming out as well. So yeah, let's get into the talking point tonight. The talking point is the pros and cons of selling on Amazon. And our guest tonight, the Bearded Vet, definitely has covered a lot of the pros. So if anybody else, got any more pros to add, you can go ahead and add them. If not, we're gonna just go straight into the cons. And the cons, I think, is what run people away from the platform. That resellers that come in that either try and fail, or the resellers that just stay on the fence because of all the policies and things that Amazon have in place that they just don't want to put up with. But we're gonna go ahead and let the Bearded Vet start it off, and then we'll work our way around.
Okay, yeah. So some of the cons that I've noticed, obviously, like I said before, everyone's doing FBA. Everyone hears about Amazon FBA. You hear all the gurus, you hear all the resellers talk about Amazon FBA. So in its essence, in the foundation of it, it's a very competitive practice, right? You're competing with sometimes hundreds of sellers on a listing. Right. So if you don't learn the tactics to stand out, your revenue will suffer, and in turn, your investment, if you're purchasing with a credit card, if you're worried about interest, you want to have that good cash flow so you can pay off that balance and not pay any interest. Because something that I've noticed a lot of people do is they don't really necessarily account for their interest rate if they're paying on credit cards. And if a product is netting you 20 or 30%, but you're paying each month, 10% or 15% on a credit card, and you're not paying that off, well, then you're down to, 10% profit. And then if the product sits or the product tanks, then, like these things matter. So make sure you learn the tactics to stand out. And like I said, your revenue will suffer if you don't.
Right.
So that's one of the cons. Anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah. Go ahead, middleman, and I'll pick it up.
I'll say one of my cons is the fees keep rising. They keep raising the fees. But I'm in the industry, in transportation industry, so I know the company that I work for, they they put the fuel surcharge onto the companies now.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the products are going up because they're trying to somebody got to eat that the fuel cost, and most companies are not going to eat it. So they're pushing it on the consumers. So I'm just saying, I say one of the cons is the fees keep rising. Too many people trying to do Amazon now. They don't know what the heck they doing,
Yeah.
and you got people lying to people about Amazon, and Amazon is not easy. They make it seem like it's so easy, but it's not as easy as they think it's work. Once everybody start doing it, they start seeing it's just not easy money like they think it is. But
Yeah.
it's a great concept, if you know what you're doing, and if you get that proper training, it can you can make money off of that. Amazon can make you a lot of money, along with eBay can too. I know we don't dip and dab in other platforms. Like I sell on Goat too, so
Hmm.
it's like it's other platforms that you can sell on too. But Amazon right now um, is the top dog. They just what it is,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that's the only cons I got. Most of they keep raising the prices, and the customer ain't always right. The customer ain't always right. That's a lie. All these scammers out here, man. I've been dealing with them for the last couple of weeks. Somebody trying to scam me on Amazon. They ain't
Yeah.
always right.
I think that one of the things I don't like that Amazon is kind of getting in a habit of doing now is this trying to control the price. When I first came on Amazon, it's basically, if you thought your item sold for a set price, you could set that price. And, if you want to sit there, $30 higher than everybody, that was you. Whether you sold that item or not, that was on you. But now it's like they trying to get a average of what that item is moving for, and they only allowing you to go up so many dollars away from that. And I don't like that because basically they can jump on any listing that's on that platform and drive the price down because they're getting the item for pennies on a dollar, but then they expect us, along with fees, to come down to what they consider a good selling price. So that's one of the things I don't like, and I notice that on a regular, especially for my FBM shipments. Um, I come and check my email and I see that like 10 or 12 of my items been removed. I'm like, what's going on here? And then it was like, well, your price too high. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, what the heck is this? But I always say that it's their playing field, so got to play by the rules. But that's one of the issues. The other issue that I have is that I think that well, it was an issue. It's changing now. Like the A to Z claims, it used to be where you get those things, and it was like pulling teeth to get those claims resolved on your behalf. But now it seems like they are starting to get that together and basically giving the reseller a chance if the documentation is presented correctly to pretty much win those cases. So that's one of the big cons that I had in the IP claims. I used to like when I first got those because I didn't when I first started selling, I really didn't understand how that worked. And when I got those based off of the information I was getting off of YouTube, I was freaking out. Like, man, they're gonna kick me off the platform. But as I got more seasonal, I started understanding that those things are all pretty much computer generated, and it's a way around those. So once I learned that, I don't freak out. Like when I hear people talking about IP claims, I'll just be saying to myself is that they just don't have the knowledge. That's why they freaking out. And I remember back in the day when I used to freak out like that as well. But those are pretty much the only things that I have an issue what I would consider would be cons back a couple of months ago. Well, the pricing thing is still a con for me. Um, and it's one of the reasons what led me over to selling on Walmart because you don't have those headaches on Walmart, and I'm loving Walmart right now. But I'm pretty sure, at some point they're gonna reel in the Wild Wild West over at Walmart as well, So, but I'm gonna ride that horse as long as I can, So, but those are pretty much the only couple of issues that I have with Amazon. I think it's no perfect machine out there. Every platform got their flaws, and you know, as far as I can tell, if I had to choose uh, amongst the top platforms out there, it would definitely be Amazon and Walmart, hands down. So, um, you know, I have issues with them, but it's nothing as detrimental to make me want to leave them. That's for sure.
Have you noticed that the fees about the same price that you purchasing the items now? Like like if you purchase an item at a discount and you look at the fees, a lot of times the fees is the price of what you pay for the item or a little higher. Have you noticed that?
No, not
Yeah, I've
really.
noticed.
I haven't. I
Yeah.
haven't.
Some of the fees, like say, like going to Walmart, you buying the item for $6,
Right.
and you look at the fees now. The fees about $6 or $7 when you look at it. You know what I mean? So you basically paying the same. You paying for that item twice. That's why I do more merchant fulfilled now. But I'm gonna get back into FBA. I'll
Yeah.
keep saying it, but
Yeah, FBA man is you can't go wrong with FBA. I mean, they do all the heavy lifting for you. So, I mean, I will, because I got the warehouse, I will do FBM
Mhm.
to try to, wait people out, especially if they driving the price down or whatever. And I just feel like I'm not going to ship my stuff to Amazon and let it sit there for 28 days or whatever, So, but FBA is definitely the route to go. And let me speak on liquidation,
Oh,
Vice wholesale. Now, like I said, I did both. I still do both. If there's a deal out there that's unbelievable, I definitely will go in and try to get the units from the distributor. But what I have found is that through trial and error, trust me, everything is through trial and error. It wasn't no absolute. Um, is that I get better margins through liquidation because now I'm in a position where I can get items that are overstock and shelf pull. And like I said in the video that I put out this past week, there is a 10%, defect rate when you pulling that stuff, especially the ones that I get. Now I can't speak on, well, in the beginning, I would say it was probably more like a 30% defect rate on the items I was getting because I was new in the game with liquidation. I really didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have the proper guidance. But now that I got smarter off of, trial and error, making mistakes, I'm in a position now that when I buy items, it's basically like you going to Walmart and Target and picking it up out of the store, but I'm just getting multiple quantities of it. So and I can say my margins are way better than they were when I was doing the wholesale game. And not like I said, everybody business model is different. It was just trial and error for me, and I just did both, and I found a better liquidator that was getting in stuff that was still in the box, just like you would find it at Walmart before they put it on the shelves and I get great margins out of that stuff. So I just want to put that out to people. And just like Bearded Vet said, is that these are the things that we are talking about right now. It's definitely not something that a new reseller just want to just jump out into. Because like I said, I have been reselling for a couple of years before I got into liquidation, and because I didn't fully know the game, I made some mistakes, but I learned from that. And sometimes it take that, to make a couple of errors, just try not to make those same errors as you move forward. Anybody else got anything to add to
Yeah,
this
I
particular
got
topic?
a couple things that might help some newbies out.
All right.
All right. So one, I wanted to ask this question earlier, but I forgot. I know you guys do a lot of forecasting in what you do. Like, should I hold? Should I wait? But another type of forecasting that I sometimes get into, I'll use, like, for an example, the new Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus thing's coming out in a couple weeks, right? This new show. So a lot of these stores like Target, Walmart, whatever, they'll do pre-orders on the action figures for those shows, right? You might not get them till August, but they're going to do pre-orders for these figures at full price, full retail, $22 or whatever. Is there a point where if you get into a situation where you can buy a bunch of them because you think they might go for a lot more eventually when you get them on Amazon? Is there ever a point where you guys forecast out and try to jump on those things early?
I do. I have I have a contact that hit me up from a distributor out of California, and basically, if it's an item that that I know, well, I'm gonna say I know, but it's a strong possibility it's gonna be a great seller, and it's gonna be a limited amount that's gonna hit. He will hit me up with an email, along with probably 1,000 other people, and ask, do we want to invest in it? And sometime I do, sometime I don't. It's all depend. Now, Moon Knight, I wish I would have got those, because it's a nice action figure, and right now it's selling over $70 something on Amazon, and I passed on it. The reason I passed on it at the time is because I was looking at the right now margins instead of looking at the future margins. So yeah, and like I said about liquidation, this stuff, when you get into this stuff, it's nothing absolute. But if you do your research, crunch your numbers right, you can make some good finds out there on the pre-forecast. And I have done that a couple of times. And like I said, Moon Knight was the one I kind of dropped the ball on. But it's another one coming up, and I don't want to put it out there right now, but there's another one coming up for the fall, and you got to get your order in now if you want it.
Moon Knight.
Beard the Vet probably know what I'm talking about.
Moon Knight was limited. I think Moonlight was limited. I happened to was able to get some of those too, and those things. Yeah, I kept seeing the the commercials for it. I'm like,
Right.
what the heck is that? And then happened to stumble up on them. I'm like, okay.
So you guys do take that chance. You forecast they're probably going to be some big sellers, so you jump on the pre-orders.
Yeah, I have and made some good money from it. I just,
and it depends.
I said, go ahead.
It also depends on what we're talking about here, because obviously Moon Knight, we're talking about Marvel comic, the Marvel comic universe, and we're talking about a very popular actor, not a super popular character in the Marvel universe that not very many people knew about, unless you read the comics. If you did, then you would know that Moon Knight's a pretty popular character. But everyone knows Marvel because of the Avengers and what we're starting to get into now. But like, for instance, I did this with a distributor. I saw what the price is now, and I saw when they're re-releasing it, restocking it. So then I put in a pre-order. It was like these mega constructs, like Halo. Figures. Like it was like one of the flying like jets or passenger things that Halo has. One of the mistakes that I made was I didn't account for in the past, Amazon had jumped on the listing before, and I didn't think that they were going to this time. Like I didn't account for that. So I made a pretty large purchase of $5,000 with a distributor, and Amazon jumped on the listing and was like, I think it was like $20 above the retail, like what I paid for it. And so it wasn't profitable. So I, like, in that situation, I had to wait until Amazon would sold out. And so that's where the con can come in of, forecasting, because if you're taking, what the price is now or what you think it might be, 30 days from now, like, you have to account for that. And if you don't, then, you're at the mercy of your investment and how long it takes for, a big whale like Amazon to sell out. And if they even do, because, I realize, like, oh, Paramount's doing the new Halo series, like everyone's going to be buying the Halo stuff. It's the same thing with Moon Knight, the characters and stuff, like, but I've noticed Amazon does that as well. Amazon jumped on all those Marvel action figures, like the Doctor Stranges, the Wanda, Spider-Man's, like all these big universes, which is great. But you're at the mercy of Amazon, selling out, and most of the time it's either the retail price and Amazon's making like 5-10%, if that. But if they're selling millions, then they're fine with that. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I got one more
thing too. On a situation like that, if I do go in, like I did, what I did was, I can put it out there now because it's old. Was I went in big on the Venom character from Hasbro, and basically, like the bearded vet said, the Amazon jumped on the listing. I check keeper, and they never been on the listing, but they jumped on it this time, I guess, because they got the good deal. And what I had to do was I waited them out for about 4 months. And when they started getting low, for some reason, they dropped the price on their item and was doing a 40% off sale on their item. So when they dropped the price on it, I started buying theirs to buy them off of the list. And I'm sure other resellers were doing it as well, because once they dropped theirs down to 40% off, they sold out by the next day. And then all the resellers got on and ran the price up. And I was able to move my items. Within probably about 15 days, I was sold out. But, that's the risk that you run against when you selling, on this platform, is that Amazon can jump on the listing at a moment's notice, and everything that you don't crunch with the numbers, goes out the window once they get in there, if they don't sell out quickly.
I got one more before we move on. I want to do a new segment called this Ask the Kings of Amazon or whatever. So I'm gonna give you guys an example, right? I'm a brand new dude, just trying to get into Amazon. Let's just say I'm ungated in Lego by some miracle, right? So I come across these mini Lego storage heads. They're at TJ Maxx for $7.99. All right. TJ Maxx has 20 of them in stock. Now I go to Amazon and look it up. I'm looking at it right now, the real live Amazon listing. So there's only 8 other people on the listing. The rank is 698,148.
That's high.
But the proceeds for fulfillment by seller, FBM, is $27. So I can make $20 profit off each one of these that I sell. And Amazon fulfilled, for some reason, is $15 profit because they have like $18 in fees or whatever. So I would definitely do these FBM, right?
Right.
If I can make $27.91 off each one of these I sell, I pay $7.99 each. There's 20 of them, but the rank is 698,000. Should I buy them or not?
So
there's a lot of factors that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly. I can tell you the basic. When I'm in the store, I have Inventory Lab, which is Scoutify 2 is their app. And I do my research right there in the store. So if I scan that, what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is look at the stats. And I'm going to see how many is selling within 30 days. With that high rank, it's probably a lot selling right now. But I have had that same item. I think I had 20 or more. And those things sold out right around Q4. So everything, all the factors change. I mean, when you're talking about in the middle of Q2, those probably not going to move like that. But when you start getting into a Q3, the end of Q3 going into Q4, that whole ranking number may drop by a whole 200,000 or 400,000. So that probably one of the items. Like if I were to buy it now for $7, which is a good buy, those things would sit in the warehouse until October.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
would
because
look.
my concern for new beginners, right, new listeners that we might have, if I'm new, I'm listening to Buffalo Picker defend the hustle. He's saying Amazon, yay, it's the best, woohoo! And I go to TJ Maxx and I'm scanning things like Buffalo told me to,
Right.
and I come across this item and I'm like, holy crap, I can make $20 off each one of these, woohoo! I'm buying them all. But what they don't factor in is all the things you're talking about now. Is like, well, the rank isn't that good.
Right.
So you're probably not going to move them now. So instead of, them spending $140 buying all of them, and then they're like, well, Buffalo told me, oh, no, I'm just sitting on all these
No,
Lego
what they
heads and
need
no
to
one's
do,
buying them.
what they need
see
to
what I'm
do
saying?
is hit Buffalo up on IG, and I'll come get them.
Because as a new reseller, a lot of people don't understand the sales rank of
Right.
items.
So what's a good sales rank? What's a good number for new beginners to look at? What's a good sales rank typically?
They all are different. Like clothing, toys, home and goods, all of them is different. Even books you could have a sales rank of 1 million or 2 million, and they still be a good sale rank, because that's like what 1%. 1 million is like 1% in books.
Something like
I would
that.
have to look on
For,
that.
for a toy at 690,000, that's very high. They probably be selling like 2 to 3 a month, if that.
I normally I'm sorry, D, but I want to just throw in for toys. When I'm looking at toys, I'm looking at like right now I'm looking at 100,000 up to
Below.
one. Now Q4 time I'll go all the way up to 400,000. Because those people that are having those items, they just like Bearded Vet said earlier, they probably people that got 1 off, 2 off, maybe 3 that they found in the store. So even at 400,000, those people make 3 sales, they are gone, and then the next person is up. So that's what I look like. And mostly I try to stay like Q4 around 100. I may go to, ideally I would try to go to 150,000. But if it's an item out there that can bring me back a good return on investment, and it's not that many people on the listing, I will go up to 400 and some thousand. I have done that and sold out. So, it varies. Q4 is a whole different ball game for Amazon. But when you talk about Q1, 2, and 3, I try to stay around 100,000 or up to 1.
And one thing I might add is, so it's a high sales rank now, right? And you have to factor in why that is. Okay, so like you said, you're going to make $20 profit off of that item, but is that item? I know it's a very big brand like Lego, but is that item really worth $40, right? So that's what the customer factors in. So if you can lower your price down to whatever it is minus $10, so you're still making over 100%, and you might get more sales, right? So that's where it factors in, because
Right.
sales rank is all based upon how often the product sells.
Yeah. Because if it sells right now, it'll drop. Say that item right now, if you go to Amazon and you see somebody sold it, that the sales rank will drop.
Yeah, exactly. And for toys, right? Lego specifically, Lego's obviously a very big brand. TJ Maxx and stuff, like I've seen that before at a TJ Maxx. Like you said, like Buffalo said, during Q4, that's probably going to drop down to, in the 100,000s or even below. But because there's going to be a bunch of other people buying it, inevitably, the price is going to go down, because it's like you said, it's like the race to the bottom. So if you can get that now, and if it sells like 3 or 4 a month at that sales rank, you can go in Keepa and go to the point, through the sales history and see when it was selling, what the sales rank was when it was selling, pretty well, and see what the price is. And if it's profitable, then list it at that. Because, you know, as a new seller, you want that fast cash flow. You want the faster items. Don't if you're a new seller, don't purchase anything really, honestly, over 100,000 in any, you know, in any category. But like you said, most of the categories are different. Books, you know, if it's a sales rank of 1 million, that's still a good book. But in toys, I forget the amount, top 1%, but I like to stay under 100, 150. Same thing with shoes, because in clothing, but like all the categories have, you know, millions upon millions of listings on Amazon, and those sales rank are factored into every single one of those products on Amazon. So, but I mean, in the long term, it's like you said, if you can purchase that, I know resellers who purchase that, like now, hold it, like you said, Buffalo, and you know they have a room full of toys, or a garage or something, a storage unit full of toys, like Legos, for instance. Legos, you know, you hold them. If you hold like a Lego set for like a year, it's probably going to double in value after a year or two. So, you know, I forget where I read it, but there was like a statistic of reselling Lego sets that are over 2 years old outperform the S&P 500 stock market.
I saw that. Yep.
And you know, obviously we're talking the long game, but if you're a reseller and you can, you know, put that investment aside, you know, and continue the cash flow of Amazon, and you can purchase on the side and, you know, put those away, then that would be beneficial to you. But like I said, most people starting Amazon have $500, $1,000, $2,000, you know, laying around, or, you know, then they want to invest it. So don't do that. You want to focus on faster cash flow products. You want to focus on stuff that sells, stuff that has, you know, lower competition. And, you know, that's where your product research really comes in. Like, if you don't do correct product research, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I can say this much too, for a new reseller. If I had to do it all over again, because I put the boots on the ground and basically went the hard way until I kind of started learning more about getting ungated and stuff like that. If I had to do it all over again with the amount of money that I started with, I probably would have got ungated in a couple of high brands first, and then start putting boots on the ground. You know, because I learned that once, you know, you go in the store, that's deflating as well for new resellers. You're going in there and you're scanning 100 items and you still can't get ungated to sell an item on Amazon. So I probably would have went and got ungated in toys, found some of the hot brands in toys like Lego, you know, Barbie, stuff like that, and then got out there and put boots on the ground. So that's another thing too. If you're gonna start Amazon, you just say you're a new reseller, you got $2,000. Take $1,000 and get ungated. Get you some brands like Beard, say you're gonna buy 10 items from the distributor, authorized distributor, and get those brands under your belt and get out there and start scanning for those particular brands that you are ungated in, so that you can start making money. Because if you do it like I did, you may not have the same kind of will that I had to keep going. You know, I went out there with the attitude that I couldn't afford to fail. So I would go in the store and scan about 300-400 items, come out with zero, walk out the store with an L, and still trying to go to another store to scan. You know, so if you know, like I said, that would be a smarter way for a new reseller. If you got the capital, go ahead and find you a couple brands, get ungated with the authorized distributor, then get out there and start putting them to work.
Yeah, I would say I probably would have came out that way myself. I came a whole different way. I dropped, you know, $5-6 grand on doggone private label, which is a good way to start. To be honest with you, if you got the capital to do it, and get your brand out there. But if you just want to do like Amazon, FBA or whatever, I think that's the smartest thing to do is just go and get ungated in all the brands, because man, going in them stores and scanning stuff, and you like, man, I can make $100 profit, and then you can't sell it. It just it's discouraging.
It'll make you quit.
Yeah,
It's
but
moralizing. You just
when once if COVID wouldn't have hit, a lot of these brands wouldn't figured out how to get brand registered on Amazon. Just say KitchenAid. I was selling KitchenAid when I first started. They wasn't brand registered. Household was one of the first categories other than books that I was starting in Amazon when I was doing retail arbitrage. Household, like everybody getting the household stuff. But now that I don't know about now because COVID hit and these brands are learning to get brand registered on Amazon. So it's a lot of these brands is like, you can't sell it. When I started, I was selling KitchenAid, all kinds of things. It was just, I was finding profitable stuff everywhere. Calphalon, I don't know if y'all heard of Calphalon. That's a higher end pots and pans and stuff like that, and household was my first thing to really start booming it for me in Amazon, especially during Q4. Because you think about pots and pans, that's Thanksgiving, that's Christmas, that's New Year, everybody cooking. So why that was the obvious choice for me was doing that. But
I would say with all this tax return money coming in, instead of buying that 75-inch TV with your tax return money, go invest in some Amazon stuff. How about that?
If there's one piece of advice that I can offer the new reseller, like you said, Buffalo, is if you have the capital available, go to an authorized distributor, purchase the 10 items that you want to get ungated in whatever brand. Like for me in the beginning it was Nike. Like I sold a bunch of Nike in the beginning because Nike's a popular brand. I had knowledge of Nike, and that is the difference maker for me and my business in the beginning, because I could sell Nike. I could go to the discount stores, I could go to Nike stores, I can go on Nike.com and purchase like the super popular brand and very trustworthy brand that the customers on Amazon use on a daily basis. Everyone has running shoes that they love. Everyone has workout clothes. Well, not everyone, but you see what I'm saying. They trust the brand, but yeah. So definitely, if there's one thing that I can just shout from the top of my lungs, stop worrying about scanning items and being gated. Get ungated. It's very easy. And usually it's pretty inexpensive, depending on the brand. If you want to like get ungated in like Apple or something, that's a whole different story. Certain categories you need like requirements, like OTC. Like I got auto ungated in OTC, but someone messaged me recently about OTC, and there was like a bunch of stuff that they need. Something with like the FDA and like a letter from them and some authorizing something. And I was like, well, I just got auto ungated in OTC. So, and what I mean, over the counter medicine category. So, if there's one thing that you guys take from this is stop worrying about being gated, get ungated. It's very simple. It's very easy to do. Amazon is usually pretty quick about it. You receive the inventory, you scan the invoice, you upload it to Amazon. Amazon will either approve you or deny you. If they deny you, that's okay. Just re-upload the same invoice and submit it again. Like I had to do that for Adidas. I submitted the Adidas invoice like 8 times. They denied me 8 times, and then the 9th time they finally approved me. It was the same exact invoice. It was just the technology that Amazon uses, the algorithm and the AI just didn't recognize it correctly, or there was something wrong with it at the time, each of those times. So yeah, don't restrict yourself just because you're gated. Like get ungated. Like it's very simple.
Under Armour was my problem. They, for some odd reason, Under Armour was like, well, you can sell this one, but you can't sell this one. If it's new Under Armour, you can't sell it. But if it's old Under Armour, you can sell it. You know what I mean? It was just, it's crazy.
I think I've realized the reason why that is because Amazon has contracts with Under Armour, so they restrict certain listings because Amazon has a boatload of stock, or they only allow like a certain seller with a certain account metrics on those listings.
Yep,
because you can
that's exactly what they do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because you can be ungated, you can be approved to sell that brand, but then Amazon restricts the listing to a certain amount of sellers or just them. And then you can't sell that that product. So if you see the red restriction badge, and it might be super profitable, but just wipe your hands clean and move on to the next item, because it doesn't make much sense for you to worry about the red restriction because you can't sell it. So don't worry about it.
Yep. And then once their inventory get low, or something happened with the metrics, then all of a sudden you can sell the item. I bought some Under Armour. Cam Newton had some Under Armour football shoes out. I found them in Ross for like $10, and on Amazon they were selling for $120-something, but it was restricted. So I had an opportunity to get about 8 pairs, so I left all of them except for one. I said I'm gonna get a size 9 and just sell it on eBay. And just one day I scanned it, and all of a sudden, you're ungated, you can sell this item. I was like, man, come on, man. But that's the kind of stuff that you have to go through with Amazon as a reseller. And you got to be able to put up with that kind of stuff. And like Bearded Vet said, just, if you can't sell it at the time, just move on to something else. And I do that all the time. I mean, if I can't sell it, I'm not going to just put my money in it just on a hope and prayer, unless it's Lego. Now, I did used to do that with Lego until I got ungated with Lego. If I saw it out there cheap, I would buy it and hold it, and hoping that one day I get ungated. And when it happened, I was loaded with Legos.
And for the people watching right now, if you want to get ungated in Lego, this is one of the only times that you can actually do this with the brand itself. Go to lego.com, order 10 units of whatever the cheapest thing is that has a listing on Amazon. They send you an invoice, upload that invoice, Amazon will approve you to sell Lego. And we're talking about a very, very profitable toy brand. Sorry, my cat is around there.
Yeah.
Jim,
that's a gem, people. Hope you're listening.
The cat was telling you to be quiet.
The cat like
he crawls back around.
So there's a little gem for y'all.
Don't tell him.
Gem. Best show on YouTube.
Hey, that wasn't no little Jim, man. A boatload Jim. He talking about a $2 billion business right there.
Yeah, that's a big Jim.
Okay, so hey, we had an hour and 30 minutes on this show, and I just don't want to keep people here. We got other folks running shows tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and if you got anything you want to show and tell, you can do it. I do have something to show and tell, but I'm just gonna hold it to next week. But I will do the 2 giveaways tonight for the gift cards, and you're gonna have an option between Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, and Dunkin' Donuts. So just let me know which one you want, and I'll get it sent to you. So if you don't have anybody got any show and tell, anything you want to show?
I got some yard sale games that I'm putting my yard sale tomorrow. Just in case somebody in Florida, in Lakeland area, they can come grab.
What you got, man? Show what you got.
Hold on. This ain't all of them. It's just some of them. Now I'm willing to part ways with as of right now.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Marie. Happy birthday. To blow this up.
I didn't scan them yet. I just went to the storage and started pulling them all out.
Hey, that Scooby-Doo's worth $24.
Oh, it is?
Yep, I just sold one.
Oh, I about to take that out the rotation. You see, I got all the Maddens and the It's so I got so many of these doggone games, man. It's just crazy. Here's your boy. Isn't this ain't that Bledsoe or that Tom?
Tom Brady.
That Tom Black? Oh yeah, 2003. He almost looked like Drew. Oh, that's not that's Buff guy right there, ain't it?
Oh yeah, I got a couple of those Vicks. Yeah, I got them put up.
And here you go. What's your boy?
That's Carson Palmer. That's Carson Palmer.
Maybe that worth in his big diesel.
Uh-oh.
With that Shack Attack.
Yep.
On Miami, baby.
Oh, that's a good one.
Miami.
Might want to check that one out.
You got another Vic. And this right here, I wasn't too sure. Is this one of the good ones?
No.
You need NCAA 14.
And NASCAR. And my boy. This is my boy right here.
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones. That's I might keep that one just because it's Roy Jones.
Roy Jones, the truth.
But I got many more of those. I'm gonna get rid of one of my Nintendo 64s and some more Wii's and stuff.
Now you
doing
eBay prices or you doing yard sale prices?
Appreciate you coming out.
They're gonna be yard sale prices. It's all to go. There's $1 per game, and the 64 I might just let it go for $10.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, everything's to go.
Push that stuff on out, man.
I don't have no choice, man. I got totes of them doggone games. I just grabbed a handful of them and brought them here. And then my van is full of yard sale stuff right now. I told Buffalo I'm about to do this yard sale thing this weekend.
Hey, we're gonna put up the wheel. Share it and see here. I need everybody that's left a comment on my video to see if your name is on the first wheel. And if it's not, let me know. We'll blow it up a little bit. And let me close this. Let's see. Sorry about that. I'm going to take this back down for a second. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, do everybody see their name on the wheel that left a comment on the video? If you don't, put your name in the chat. Am I freezing?
No. You good?
Okay.
Oh, let me see, man. I think my eyes are hurt.
You on there, D Miller, man. You in black right there. I think
yeah.
Did I leave Tenya off there? No, Tenya's on there. Okay. I think everybody's on there. Glass City ain't on there. Let's see. I thought I had put you on there.
Hey, Mess Hall, was it an Xbox Scooby-Doo or was it?
Let me check. Let me double check. I'll look at my soul listings.
I got the book and everything, the booklet and everything.
That's all gonna have you up all night scanning, man.
And I wasn't gonna scan them because I just want to get rid of them. I'm gonna be mad at myself.
No, I saw it. The only one I saw was that Scooby-Doo that was worth something.
Oh.
All right, so Glass City, I got you on here. Did I miss anybody else? So if you left a comment on the video that I posted this week, you're gonna be eligible for this first spin. Give a shout out to Vasquez Vintage. Appreciate you all coming out. All right, so let's get this first one over with. So if you win, you got a choice between the Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, and Chick-fil-A gift card.
What's the one you got? Xbox?
Yep. It's in real good shape too. I'm just looking at it now, kind of.
Because the one I sold was a GameCube one, but the Xbox one they got some listed for $29.99.
All right, Horizon Picks in the chat. You got to be here to win.
Yeah, that's $25 game, man.
If not, we're gonna move on.
That's about to stay with me.
Yeah, that's $25 game, brother. Is it the what's the name of it? Frights, 1,000 Frights or whatever.
See,
Horizon
Scooby-Doo.
Picks, is he in the chat?
a mask.
Can somebody let me know if Horizon Picks in the chat?
I haven't seen them, Bo.
I haven't seen them all night.
All right, so let's move on.
Oh, you're right. It's $25.
Yeah, I told you. Told you.
All right. All right.
Wiglin's here.
All right, Betty Boop. Let me know which one you want. Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Chick-fil-A. Just send it to me on Instagram and I'll get it. I need your email address as well. All right. So the next giveaway,
$29.99. I'm gonna leave that right there. That was
dropping
still-
them in the chat. Everybody, it's open for everybody. Dropping them in the chat from 1 to 50. 1 to 50. If you can, Bearded Vet, drop your number in the chat. You know, I know your wife like Chick-fil-A or your kids or somebody.
You put your number in the, you put your number in the chat.
Oh, I thought he was doing the spin.
He already did it.
Oh.
Yeah, that thing said $29.99. Mess hall.
Yeah.
Sold for that.
All right. When I drop the X's, that's it, y'all. Go ahead and drop your number in the chat. Okay, you got 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Put your number in the chat.
It's going for 31 on Amazon. I'm tripping. I'll be cleaning this tonight.
Hey, that's what you got us for, man. Catch them things. For you.
All right, that's it, y'all. Let's get it. All right, what we got? 12?
Well, my wife, 12 on the dot.
All right, Tanya. Send me the middleman, send me your wife email address and let me know which card she wants. And I'll get
Hey, she right here.
Which
card you want? Oh, I don't know. She's not listed.
Okay, well, just pass it on and we'll get it put out. I normally try to get them sent out by Sunday. So
Starbucks.
All right. So let me take this down right quick.
You heard me? Buff?
Nah, what you say?
Starbucks.
Okay. Yeah, send it with the email address because that's how I send them out.
Oh, the email address.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up. Anybody got anything to plug? We're gonna start out with our guests. If you got anything you want to plug, go ahead and plug it, and then we'll work our way around the room.
I think I lost you. Y'all can hear me?
Oh, 2 people had 12.
Oh, 2 people had 12. Kevin.
I had 12 too, but
you
it's
had
all
12?
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, ain't no problem. We're gonna fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin had 12.
12.
Yeah.
He had 12 too.
Okay. So we have 2 people with 12, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh.
All right. So go ahead and Kevin and Tanya dropping them in the chat, and whoever closest to it gonna get it from 1 to 50.
Don't worry about it, baby. I'll buy you some Starbucks tomorrow.
The consolation prize. You get Starbucks anyway.
All right. Hey, middleman, tell your wife drop the number. Okay.
Drop your number.
All right. Here we go. All right. All right,
Yep.
Kev, send me your information in the Instagram and what card you want. I'll get that shipped out. All right.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My bad. I was sleeping on the chat.
Yeah, I did too. I just seen her name pop up. I was like, oh. Oh.
All right. Middleman got to come out that pocket now, bro.
She got the credit card.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do the plug, and we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close this show out.
So that means I didn't win.
All right, Bill, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say I appreciate y'all for inviting me. Y'all can find me on both Instagram and TikTok at the Bearded Vet. There's underscores there, but I appreciate the time. It was fun. Great questions, and I hope I could help everyone in the chat if they're experience. They want to sell on Amazon or something, and hit me up on Instagram, shoot me a DM. I try to help as many people as I can during the day, but I'll get to your messages as soon as I can. But like I said, appreciate the time, and it was cool, guys.
All right, middleman.
I'm doing the yard sale tomorrow. That's what I'll be doing. I'm starting at 9. I'm not starting at 7. I'll need people in my yard at 6 o'clock in the morning talking about am I too early? Yeah, you too early. So I'm starting at 9. And hopefully that'll be done. And if not, we're gonna have them a whole bunch of stuff coming their way.
All right. That's all.
I just want to plug this show, man. I mean, this show, I don't know about everybody else in the chat, but I watch a lot of shows on YouTube, and this show I learn more than any other show on this one. You guys need to spread the word. Tell the people that tell other resellers. Information just flying out of this show, man. It could change people's lives, man. So spread the word on this show. Buffalo doing a great service to the community. So spread the word for us. Get the name out there and support the channel, man. Thank you.
All right. Definitely want to give a shout out to the Bearded Vet. Definitely don't. It's very rare that we get somebody on here that is leveled up on Amazon and that can speak the language. Most of the time is myself or Glass City Pickers. I'm delighted to have somebody on here that can speak it. And now that we don't got the middleman on the camera, he can speak it as well. But I'm looking forward to, if the time permit, to get you back on the show because you was definitely dropping some gems here tonight, and you the type of guest that we like to have on this show, somebody that's transparent with the process and not trying to hold things back. Because I'm gonna tell you that gem you gave out about Lego, I mean, if people didn't jump on that, then I got to check your head, check your temperature, see if you're cold, because that was some great information right there. So definitely looking forward. We're gonna reach back out, myself or Mess Hall Diggs, to get you back on the show. Would probably be closer to Q4 and see what's going on with you, see if anything else you can put out there, talk about the Amazon business, because it's definitely a great platform to sell on. I brag about Amazon all the time, but Walmart has started getting some of my brag too, but definitely a great platform to sell on, and can change your life if you do it right. Also, I just dropped a video on yesterday, I think it was, about I did an unboxing for Whatnot. And if you haven't been to Whatnot, check out Whatnot. It's definitely some deals over there. I was going to show you all a Whatnot box. Even though I did one in the video, I got one here today in the mail as well. And I was going to show it to you all in the show and tell, but just time didn't permit tonight. So I think in another week, I'm going to do it on Whatnot. I'm going to start advertising and posting the things out there that I'm going to sell to try to get the word out there. Also, too, if you're not subscribed to any of the folks here on the panel, make sure you go out and check out their channel. Jennifer been dropping the links in the chat all night. I have a Facebook community, the Buffalo Picker resale community. That community is designed for
You froze.
anything that you want to on there that referencing reselling. So did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze.
You good? Go ahead.
Okay.
Good.
So yeah, Buffalo Picker resale community on Facebook. Go there. All you got to do is just join. If you want to post anything you got going on, so people can come follow you. It's no quorums with that. Only thing I ask is that you don't put anything on that group that deals with politics or being mean to somebody. That's just not what we do, and that's not what it was built for. Other than that, I want to thank my guest tonight. Definitely brought some gems and dropped some knowledge here. Hopefully, you all in the chat that is on the fence trying to get into the Amazon game, reach out to him or reach out to myself or the middleman. And, we definitely don't mind sharing the information. There's enough money out there for everybody to make money. If you get into this business and do it right, it definitely can change your life. And with that being said, Buffalo Picker, defend the hustle. See you all next week.
Good night, everyone.